a symbol of what's going on in France today. In the kitchen, believe it or not, it's the North African food that's taking over. Something that you can use for a bar bat mitzvah, for a wedding reception, as the first course of a meal, no matter what the meal is. France is the third largest Jewish community in the world, after Israel and the United States. It has about 600,000 strong. About 250,000 Jews were lost, not all in the camps, during the war of French Jewry. And they were replenished by Jews coming from North Africa after the independence of Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. And North African Jews have infiltrated in every part of life, the fashion industry and the food industry. There are many, many kosher restaurants today because of the influx of Sephardic Jews. I remember once going to a wedding in Paris. It was of an Ashkenazi groom marrying a woman of Tunisian and Polish background. And we had couscous, and we had wonderful cooked salads, and all the spicy food that comes from North Africa with harissa, and it was delicious. But there were two dishes that this woman's father, who was from Poland, had made. And they were a dish of gefilte fish and a dish of chopped liver. And to me, it's a symbol of what's going on in France today, because in every family, in almost every family, there's a mixture now of North African and so-called French Jews. And in the kitchen, believe it or not, it's the North African food that's taking over. So I'm going to make Brik, which is a typical Tunisian dish. And the reason I chose a Tunisian dish today is that France has been in our hearts and our minds the past few months. So I decided to make one of my favorite crossover foods from the Tunisian public, but to all French peoples. So you mixed 2 cans of tuna fish, 6-ounce cans, and some hard-boiled eggs, cilantro. And if you don't like cilantro, put in parsley, but I happen to love cilantro. So you get this real flavor. Pine nuts, you can toast them or they can just be plain. Diced onions, finely diced onions, and some crème fraiche. Really, you can use whatever you want. Sour cream, you could use mayonnaise. And then you take either a Brik, which actually this, believe it or not, is a Turkish kind of Brik, but you can find all kinds of Brik, or, which is most easy to use, you can take a wonton wrap, and that's what I'm going to use. And there are many ways to do this, so I'm going to show you 1 or 2 ways. You put about a teaspoon or so, this is a very heaping teaspoon, on the edge, or close to the edge. You always want to have a border. Then you put your glue on the other side. You fold them over, and you close them. Close it over. You're supposed to just use this finger, but I kind of like to use my whole hand as a brush. And then you roll it up, and there you go. All right, I'm taking it, this paste is a little bit different from the wonton. You can even smell the yeastiness of this. It's really quite extraordinary. You can fry this in a deep fryer. You can fry it in a regular frying pan. I always like using a wok when I fry. And an electric wok is great because it calibrates exactly the 375 degrees that you want. So that's what I'm doing. You just want them to be brown. And I also advise not putting a lot in at once. When I'm making these, actually I also make donuts in this, and when I'm doing them before a dinner party, I have them made just before, and then I put them on paper towels so that they're hot. Okay, so now we're going to try my super duper big one. Isn't that very cool? These Brik you can have for breakfast. You can experiment in so many ways with them. You can use feta cheese, you can use spinach, you can use chard, you can use preserved lemons, you can use whatever you want. But you have to eat them quickly. And these big Brik are just so fabulous. So, but the most important thing to do is to have them with this méchoui, which they call the Tunisians, who's got black olives and roasted red peppers and green peppers and onions, and a little bit of harissa, which is the North African hot sauce, as opposed to the trug, which is Yemenite, a green sauce. So you take it apart. Actually, you just have to bite into it like this. So good. Now that I've eaten the big ones and showed you how messy an eater I am, I'm going to try the small Brik, something that you can use for a bar bat mitzvah, for a wedding reception, as the first course of a meal, no matter what the meal is. Again, you dip it in the hot sauce, you bite. Delicious, the salad. That brings back, for Tunisian Jews, the memory of Tunisia when they're in Paris. Bon appetit.